Hey guys, welcome back to another video at Ground Zero Vibes, where we discuss real topics that help us make better life decisions. I wish I had a me when I was coming up, so I am here for you. I already did it, so you don't have to. And this is part 2. I think I'm just going to piggyback off of the last video, Are You the Family Mule? I wanted to provide an example of a family mule that most people have seen, and I'm going to go with Terry from the movie Soul Food. This is a black classic, so if you haven't seen it, I think it's on Hulu currently. And if you haven't seen this since childhood like me, I want you to rewatch this as an adult for a refreshed perspective. Then come back and let's chop it up. But until then, let me walk you through the character Terry's muling. Keep in mind, this movie was framed to make Terry seem like the villain, always being logical, complaining about money issues, and just being this uptight, unfun, stark, tightly wound woman with man problems, yet sticking her nose in everybody else's business. This is sort of the way that they framed her in the movie. So in Real Realization, Terry was practical and logical, like she was raised and conditioned to be. She stated how her parents kept her head in the books, which is not unnecessarily a bad thing. But if she wasn't allowed the balance of tenderness and girlhood, this is the creation of a masculine and imbalanced woman. Now, also, these are reasons why or how you can tell that Terry was a family mule. Terry invested in her baby sister's bird hair shop. So she was like the main street to everybody's success. All roads led back to her if, she had to kick out some money. Terry paid for this same sister's wedding, which is not at all her responsibility. So that's how you can tell muling, something that's just like really loud and big to ask of somebody, and she just handles the responsibility. That was not her responsibility to do, especially because she got married to a man that was not nearly her sister. She got married to a man that was not nearly in position to pay Terry back. So she was already invested in this same sister's hair shop, and then she paid for the wedding. So she just sort of like was double taking care of the sister. And with her marrying somebody broke, it was almost like she was taking care of her and her man. So that's muling. Terry had to be the rock of the family and was ridiculed for being so stiff, like a rock. So, go figure with this black ass family. Terry likely didn't have children or become inherently matron-like because she had babies already in the form of her entitled ass family members. Terry was also the oldest and the father passed away, so it's likely she became the pseudo spouse in the home, helping to fill the provider role of the dad, which in itself was feminine robbery. This family shitted on Terry all around the board. The only friend she had was the nephew. She absorbed all the shock from this family and had to act composed because, after all, she's the rock and backbone and is not allowed to feel emotions without being gaslit back into her masculine statue muling role. Terry couldn't keep a man because of her conditioned masculinity. She didn't want to support her husband's creativity because, a masculine mind only can conceptualize structure, logic, and groundedness, predictability, and foundation, which is like what she was operating with. She had like a masculine mind because, she didn't have any femininity. She was sharp with how she handled her husband. And most women in this heavy role lack the space for flow, creativity, change, current, and that just a girl demeanor. Imagine being conditioned to be the family anchor, something heavy, something hard, stern and black and white, something lawful and ordinate. She didn't get a chance to be pink, frilly, and passionate and free. And then you also have to get judgment and flack from the family because you're this heavy person that they conditioned you to be. Terry was throughout on the front line always because it's hard to hide your success. So the family was entitled to her money for everything. They were so entitled, they suggested Terry and her husband's money go up front and the rest of the family pay them back in installments. Like a bank. The nerve.
That Terry and Miles could pay for everything, and then maybe we could pay you all back in installments or something.
Don't you start running that game on me again.
Never mind if Terry has her own hobbies, investments, problems, or anything that would tie her money up from being up for grabs. This was never considered because Terry was not a person. She was a mule. Nobody empathized with Terry at all. And it was so heartbreaking. Her feelings were not valid to anyone. She was literally a punching bag for bad treatment. Nobody held space for her. She was just expected to stick to the script and constantly sit around and stomach people who treated her bad and blamed her for just being a human. They kept advocating for her abusers, keeping them around. Everyone else could cry and hurt and feel, but not Terry. It was like, girl, stop crying and get that cornbread out the oven, or stop trying to be frugal and just give us the money to insert whatever family need right here. Everybody disrespected Terry, bruh. The cousin walked around her house scantily clad around her man. That wouldn't have flew with the other sisters. They was already on guard for Cousin Faith. They didn't even want her to come to their house from the jump. And Cousin Faith, she just get to walk around her house. Every time I looked at her, the booty was out. And the booty was out around the husband. So just disrespect right there. Then there was the husband making large purchases without even mentioning it. And as emasculating as it sounded for her to like check him on it, it was a strong disregard for her as his 50-50 wife to sit up there and spend 5 bands without even opening up his mouth. It's giving sneaky. Then there's the mama making jokes and having little inside jokes with the sisters at Terry's expense. Then the sister stealing her man, which was Dirt Doug. Then the brother-in-law being the man that she stole. Bird wasn't much like a disrespecter, but she was eating heavy off the system already in play. Plus, she's the baby, so it went without saying. Also, for Terry to be financing her livelihood, it was so crazy to me how Bird never took her side and always left her hanging with, like, no solidarity. Then even Bird's husband got out on her after she helped bail him out of jail. Because let's be honest, he did get handsy with Bird. And he did deserve to be checked. I mean, the cousin, he could have did better with the checking, but he deserved to be checked. So you see how her looking out for the family in both ways kept her villainized, because as they said, nobody asked for her help. Which brings me to the point of nobody asking for her help. They didn't have to ask for her help. She is a mule, and she was doing what mules do, which is mitigating a problem before it starts costing her. But this is how the family keeps the mule small and disconnected from humanity. They say little things like, oh, your service wasn't needed, but be all smiles when you pull the strings. They just refuse to recognize your servitude. It's hard to mind your business when eventually everyone is going to call you to clean up the mess. So, as to save herself the task of having to clean up the mess, she's trying to clean it up before it even gets messy. And there was a hint of enmeshment with this family because, as it was stated, none of the sisters were allowed out on dates without each other to chaperone, which is weird, but I get it for safety purposes. But that was the foundation for blurred individuality. That's why it's like, your money is my money and your man is my man. And let's be clear, Terry being the oldest, that just meant that she couldn't date alone. Because if it were an everybody rule, the sisters would have been operating out of sister code and not gazelling and anteloping around her man, because she would know how that feels. So I don't think that was a all of the sisters rule type thing. I think that was just to make it so that Terry couldn't have her alone time. It wasn't hard to steal a man from Terry. All you had to do was feel and be sensual and move and twirl and laugh and live in the moment, care and love music and dance and just be a woman. It's sad, really, because as beautiful as she is, she was robbed of her femininity. She was not allowed femininity like all of the other women around her. She was a mule. Terry was perceived as not needing anything. That's why her problems were belittled. But the truth is, she needed to be treated as gently as that damn third baby her sister had by her ex. She needed kindness too. She needed tenderness and understanding too. And by the way, they were grown when her sister stole her man. And she was in a serious relationship with that man. Anytime a very logical woman ruminates on what life would be like if she had married him, that's how you know. So in the first place, we was forced to overlook how in love Terry was or might have been with her ex/now brother-in-law. Plus, notice how no one ever gives Terry an explanation for their mistreatment. That's because she attracts people who do not see her, such as the family members and upbringing. Of all the giving Terry did, I never heard a single thank you. Only resentment, bad talk, entitlement, guilt, and shaming. So it's no wonder she announced her contributions every chance she got, because her family otherwise act like it was an ATM situation. Automatically Terry's money, like she said. And honestly, where's the lie? Okay? So Terry finally snaps and grabs a knife. This is common activity for those who suppress mistreatment, but of course she was villainized for being a vulnerable woman. All them hoes was dead wrong at one point, but she just was not allowed this notion because, again, she's not a woman, she's a mule. And now let me show you how being a family mule can make you attract abusers, users, and abuser empathizers. Question. Which one of her sisters came into protect mode when they found out that Cousin Faith boinked her husband? Oh, don't worry, bitch. I'll wait. None of them. In fact, they strongly suggested that Cousin Faith stay after rightfully wanting to leave. This type of betrayal and disloyalty from so-called close loved ones makes the mule normalize accepting people who don't show any regard for their feelings. This mishandling is familiar. It's coming from family. So the mule familiarizes with mishandling. Life is looked at like a game of hardball, and the game is always on, and the mule always has the ball. This creates that hard shell that everyone demonizes. This also creates grounds for pick-meism, and it also creates anxiety, never being able to relax and feel secure. This creates a low self-worth and always having to prove yourself and your worth with tangible giving. The mule learns early on that their existence alone isn't enough for anyone. So no wonder she's on her second marriage going awry. Being capable, successful, or smart shouldn't be grounds for neglect, but it is often this way. And this is why very capable and masculinized women continue to attract people in situations in their life that's familiar to them, which is a role of servitude, performative togetherness or love, and abusers and people who don't see them. Notice how they judge her cooking. They expect the mule to play their role and their own role too. Like, how can I be a master chef and an attorney going for a partner at a law firm at the same time? They have an unrealistic expectation for the mule because of the superhero complex. She's literally just a girl. They made it seem like in the movie that she was jealous of Maxine, her sister that stole her man. But let's be so super clear. She wasn't jealous of Maxine. She was jealous of the softness that she got to live. She was jealous of her not having to do a lot to be loved. Meanwhile, she had to support the family, maintain a thriving career, pay for mama's house and medical bills, and have all these expectations, but not even have one person genuinely on her side, besides the nephew. And even he was a product of that blatant disregard from her family. So no woman wants to mule. She just wanted to live the soft life too, and that's the core of all women. Most importantly, everyone had a happy ending, or at least a neutral ending, but her. All she had to show for holding her family together was a second marriage down the drain, a compromised bank account, heartache. Oh yeah, she had a big beautiful home, but a home that her husband gave the actual business to her cousin on the rooftop in. So yeah. And let that be a cautionary tale, and take charge of the roles you play. And remember, although conditioning is hard to break, nobody can make you play a role. They're trying to control things through the use of you, but you're the one in control of your destiny. So let go of the steering wheel and steer your own life, even if you have to steer it away from the toxicity that you call a family. So do any of these points resonate with you? Are you the Terry of your family? Is there a Terry in your family who just seem to not let you forget their deeds? Are you the family mule? Do you unreasonably carry the weight of your family? Do you rely heavily on one family member who seems super capable? Are you in a relationship with a Terry? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences with muling for the family. Leave it down in the party section, aka the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Shawty, I'm stepping up my game for real, doing something to me. Game for real, doing